Welcome to the deep dive. We take your sources, break them down, and hopefully make them clear and useful.
That's the goal, making sense of it all.
Okay, so let's dig in here. We've got quite a bit of material focused on windshield repair, specifically looking at the San Diego area.
Right. A very common issue for drivers everywhere, really.
Totally. And you know that feeling, right? You're driving maybe down the 8, you hear that little ping sound.
Ooh, yeah, that sound.
Exactly. And suddenly there it is, this little starburst or maybe a tiny crack starting on your windshield. And your first thought is probably, oh, great, there goes my afternoon. Got to replace the whole thing. And probably my wallet, too.
That's almost the universal reaction, isn't it? That immediate jump to replacement needed, it feels like a big deal.
It really does. Feels like, okay, game over for this windshield. But what if that's not quite right? What if that immediate reaction isn't the full picture?
What if there's another way?
Yeah. What if there's an option that could be, faster, maybe significantly less expensive, and maybe even better for your car in the long run than ripping out the old glass?
Well, that's exactly what jumps out from these sources. They really challenge that automatic assumption that chip equals replacement.
Okay.
They build a pretty strong argument that replacement isn't always necessary, not even always the best thing to do.
And this is where it starts to get really interesting, I think. Looking through this stuff, there are some genuinely surprising bits, especially about, the cost and how convenient it can be. It might actually change how you look at that annoying little chip.
Definitely.
So our mission here really is to figure out from these sources, when can you actually repair a windshield instead of replacing it? Why does that choice even matter? And, what does this particular service we're reading about actually offer?
And one of the first really crucial points these sources make is that, replacement isn't automatic. It really, really depends on the damage itself.
Okay, so what kind of damage are we talking about?
They emphasize that lots of chips, those little bullseyes or star breaks, and even smaller cracks, they are often fixable, perfectly fixable.
So it's not like any damage means you need new glass. A small nick, maybe okay, but like a crack running halfway across?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Exactly. The material suggests if it's a chip or a crack that you can see, but it hasn't sprawled everywhere, repair is usually the way to go. They even mention sending a photo can help figure it out.
Oh, that's handy.
Yeah, so the assessment is key, but they are clear if the damage is bad enough, well, then replacement is still the only option.
Right. Okay, so let's say repair is an option. Why choose that? Besides maybe being cheaper.
Well, cheaper and faster are definitely the big obvious ones the sources mentioned first. A repair usually takes less time.
Less waiting around.
Exactly. And costs less upfront than getting a whole new piece of glass, having it installed, all that.
Makes sense. Time and money, always appealing. But you mentioned something else, maybe a less obvious reason. Is there more to it?
Oh, absolutely. And this is, I think, maybe the most critical point the sources really hammer home. It's about keeping your vehicle's original factory seal.
The factory seal. Okay, what does that mean exactly?
So when your car was built, the windshield was installed with a very specific, strong adhesive seal. When you replace the windshield, you have to break that original seal.
Ah, okay.
And then a new seal is applied when the new glass goes in. But replicating that original factory precision, it's tricky.
And why is keeping that specific seal so important? It's just holding glass in, right?
Not quite. It's actually way more important than most people realize. That windshield, it's a key part of your car's structure.
Really? Structure?
Yeah, it contributes a surprising amount to the overall stiffness of the car's body. It helps your airbags deploy correctly in a crash.
Wow, okay.
And it even helps keep the roof from collapsing in certain kinds of accidents, like a rollover. So breaking that original, perfectly applied factory seal, it introduces risks.
Risks like what?
Well, things like maybe more wind noise when you're driving, or annoying water leaks when it rains, and potentially even a slight compromise in that structural support we just talked about. So while sometimes you have to replace it, if you can repair the damage instead, you keep that ideal original seal intact. That's best for the car's safety and how it was designed to perform.
That's a really significant point. I bet most people, myself included, don't think about the windshield as part of the car's safety structure.
Exactly. It's not just for looking through. Repair reinforces the glass without messing with that crucial structural bond. Replacement always involves breaking and trying to recreate that bond.
Okay. So repair is possible for some damage, saves time, saves money, and crucially protects that original factory seal and the car's structure. So how does it actually work? Do you have to, take your car somewhere specific?
This is another area where the sources describe something pretty convenient. They state really clearly that this particular service is only mobile.
Only mobile. So they come to you. Yep. They come to you, whether you're at home or maybe at your office, basically anywhere within about a 25-mile radius of Kearney Mesa, right here in San Diego.
Wow, okay, mobile service. That completely changes the convenience factor, doesn't it? No need to juggle schedules, drive to a shop. Wait.
Right. They explicitly say you avoid taking time out of your day. They fix it right where your car is parked. And get this, they even mention offering same-day appointments sometimes.
Same day. That's impressive flexibility. Huge plus for anyone with a packed schedule.
Okay, what about the repair itself? Like, what should you expect? Does the chip just vanish?
The sources are pretty straightforward here. They say a professional repair will make the damaged spot much clearer. They give figures like 75% to 85% improvement in clarity.
75 to 85%. Okay.
Yeah, so a big visual improvement. But they do acknowledge that sometimes a faint mark might still be visible afterwards.
Ah, okay.
Because, as they put it, every chip is kind of unique. But, and this is key, they absolutely guarantee the repair restores the structural integrity of the glass.
So it stops it from cracking further.
Exactly. Stops the spread, makes the glass strong again. That's the main goal. The cosmetic improvement is significant, but the structural fix is the guarantee.
So reinforcing the glass, stopping the crack, restoring the strength, that's the priority, even if it's not always cosmetically perfect.
Precisely. And they seem confident about it. They mention using a proven process, high-quality materials, and they offer a 100% satisfaction guarantee on the work itself.
A guarantee like that does offer some peace of mind. What about the company itself? Are they new on the scene? Or?
No, not at all. The sources are explicit. They've been doing only windshield repairs in San Diego for over 15 years.
15 years. Wow.
Yeah, and repaired thousands of chips and cracks in that time. They frame that experience as being really central to doing a quality, reliable job.
15 years, thousands of repairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely significant expertise. Now, you mentioned saving money earlier. The big question, what does a repair actually cost?
Okay, now here's probably one of the most eye-opening points in these sources. It connects right back to costs. They talk about a worry-free repair angle.
Worry-free repair, what's that about?
Specifically for drivers who have full insurance coverage. Comprehensive coverage on their auto policy.
Okay, so what's worry-free about it for them?
Get this. The sources state that in many cases, for those drivers, this service might be able to do the repair for free.
Free, like zero cost, seriously.
Seriously. They suggest your insurance company might often cover the whole cost by waiving your deductible specifically for a repair, not a replacement.
Whoa.
And maybe even more surprising, they say this often happens without making your insurance rates go up.
Hold on. A potentially free repair, and it doesn't hike up your insurance premium. That feels like a huge deal. That's not what you normally expect with insurance claims.
It really is a standout point. The sources imply that insurance companies actually prefer paying for a relatively cheap repair now.
Ah, because it saves them money later.
Exactly. It prevents that much bigger potential payout if the chip spreads and you end up needing a whole new windshield replacement down the line. It's actually a cost saver for them too, potentially.
Okay. That makes sense from their perspective.
But, and this is important, they do strongly recommend you call or text them. They give the number 619-804-4050 just to get the specifics for your insurance policy. It's not guaranteed for every single policy, you know?
Right. Always check the details. But still, the possibility of a free repair with no rate increase is. Wow. Okay, so recap. Mobile service comes right to you. Experienced pros, quality guarantee, and potentially zero out-of-pocket cost if you're fully insured. Sounds pretty compelling. Is there anything else these sources really emphasize?
Yes. One more really critical thing, the absolute urgency. Don't wait.
Urgency. Why?
They stress this repeatedly. Putting off a windshield repair is basically the worst mistake you can make. Things like temperature changes. You know, San Diego mornings can be cool and afternoons hot.
Yeah, definitely.
That plus just the normal vibrations from driving, even hitting a small pothole. All those things put stress on the glass. That tiny chip or crack will inevitably start to spread.
So if you ignore it, it just gets worse on its own.
Guaranteed. And if you wait too long, it can crack out to the point where repair isn't even possible anymore. Then you're forced into that full replacement you might have avoided.
So procrastination is the enemy here.
Absolutely. They literally call acting fast the key to a successful repair. Waiting just ups the risk that a quick, maybe free, maybe inexpensive fix turns into a much more costly and time-consuming replacement job.
Got it. Act fast. And the sources give the contact info pretty clearly. That phone number again, 619-804-4060. They also list an email, tony@sdwindshield.com, and they mention texting as an option too.
Yeah, texting is convenient, right? Maybe snap a photo of the chip, send it over for a quick initial assessment.
Good point. Makes it easy to start the process.
One last thing, what about those DIY kits you see sometimes? Did the sources mention those? They do touch on that. Basically, they acknowledge that kits exist, but they argue what you're paying for with a professional isn't just the resin material, it's the experience.
Ah, the skill involved.
Right. They pointed out that windshield repair is often a one-shot deal. Once that resin cures inside the chip, you can't really redo it if it wasn't done right the first time. Professional know-how is key to getting it right.
So trying to save a few dollars on a DIY kit might actually backfire and make a replacement necessary anyway if you mess it up.
That's the strong implication, yeah. It sounds like one of those areas where paying for expertise really matters.
Okay, so let's try and pull this all together. What's the big picture takeaway from this deep dive into windshield repair? It seems like it really changes the narrative around that initial ping sound.
Definitely. It shows that a small chip or crack isn't an automatic sentence to a big, expensive replacement job. That's the first hurdle to get over mentally.
And we learned about some really significant benefits to choosing repair if you can.
Yeah.
Saving time, saving money, those are clear. But also that crucial point about preserving the original factory seal.
Absolutely vital. Keeping that seal maintains the car's structural integrity, helps safety systems work right, and avoids those annoying potential side effects like wind noise or water leaks.
And the sources really drove home the need to act quickly. Don't let that chip sit there. Temperature changes, vibrations, they will make it spread, potentially pushing it past the point of repair.
Yeah, urgency is key. And then there was that really surprising angle about insurance.
Right, the potential for a worry-free, maybe even free repair for fully insured drivers, often without affecting your rates. That's huge. But again, need to call and check your specific policy.
Definitely need to verify. And for this specific service we read about, the convenience factor stands out: mobile service within 25 miles of Kearney Mesa. Plus their long experience, over 15 years.
Thousands of repairs, yeah. And backed by that 100% satisfaction guarantee, it paints a picture of a reliable, convenient option.
It really does.
Yeah.
And, it kind of raises a broader question, doesn't it? Thinking beyond just windshields. How often, when we face some kind of small problem or setback, do we just assume the biggest, most drastic solution is the only path forward?
Yeah. Like we jump to the most expensive or complicated fix automatically.
Exactly. When maybe, just maybe, if we looked a bit closer, acted a bit faster, there might be a simpler, more beneficial, maybe even surprisingly affordable repair available. It makes you think differently about tackling those small issues before they become big ones,